My dear friends, life is not a straight highway. It's a winding road with turns, bumps, and traffic lights. Every one of us faces challenges, emotional struggles, relationship conflicts, financial hardships, or simply the battle within our own minds. But remember, a problem is not a punishment, it is a pathway to progress. Problems come not to stop us, but to strengthen us. The moment we change our perception toward problems, we begin to find solutions hidden within them. When we look at problems as lessons rather than obstacles, our life transforms. The truth is, the same situation that breaks one person builds another. It's never the size of the problem that matters, it's the size of your perspective. Every problem carries a message. It whispers, you are meant to grow, whether it's failure, in the rejection or confusion. Each is an invitation to discover a better version of yourself. Instead of asking, why me? Start asking, what is this trying to teach me? When you shift from resistance to reflection, clarity emerges. Life's challenges are like school exams. They don't come to destroy us. They come to check our understanding. If you pass, you move forward. If you fail, you study again, and that's perfectly fine. The art of solving problems lies not in reacting, but in responding. When emotions are high, wisdom is low. That's why, before solving any problem, take a pause, calm your heart. Because a calm mind can find solutions that an anxious heart never sees. We often forget that not all problems are meant to be solved immediately. Some need time, patience, and faith. Just like a seed doesn't turn into a tree overnight, some challenges require growth within you before they disappear outside of you. So don't rush. Every problem carries divine timing. Problems are not punishments, but pathways to growth. Often when difficulties enter our lives, our first reaction is resistance. We wonder, why is this happening to me? Or, what did I do to deserve this? But the truth is, problems are not signs that life is against us. They are signs that life is trying to teach us something we would never have learned otherwise. Every challenge carries within it an unseen opportunity. Just as fire purifies gold, problems refine our character. Without them, we would never discover our true strength, patience, and wisdom. Think about it. When everything is easy and comfortable, we rarely grow. The comfort keeps us where we are, but challenges push us to where we are meant to be. A seed must crack open before it becomes a plant. Similarly, our comfort zones must break before we bloom into the person we are capable of becoming. The pain we feel in that breaking is not a punishment, it's part of the process. Without it, we would remain small, unaware of the power that lies within us. Every setback, every closed door, every unanswered prayer is shaping us in ways we may not yet understand. Sometimes, life removes what we think we need to make space for what we truly deserve. Problems often come disguised as disappointments, but behind that disguise lies direction. When things don't go according to our plan, perhaps life is redirecting us toward a greater purpose. What feels like rejection may actually be protection. Many times, the things we cry over today become the reasons we smile tomorrow once we realize how those challenges pushed us toward growth. When we stop seeing problems as punishments, we stop playing the role of a victim. We become participants in our own evolution. Instead of saying, "This shouldn't be happening," we start asking, "What can I learn from this?" That shift in mindset is powerful. It transforms pain into purpose. It transforms fear into faith. Problems are not there to destroy us, but to develop us. They teach us humility when we become too proud, patience when we are too hurried, and compassion when we forget that others are struggling too. Imagine a life without problems. It would be a flat, unchallenged, and unchanging existence. Just like muscles grow stronger only through resistance, our inner strength grows through facing life's difficulties. Without problems, there would be no innovation, no resilience, and no personal transformation. We would never know what we are truly capable of. The caterpillar never becomes a butterfly without the struggle of breaking through its cocoon. That struggle is what gives its wings the strength to fly. So, the next time a problem enters your life, don't see it as a punishment to escape, but as a teacher to learn from. Life is not trying to break you, it's trying to build you. Every problem carries a message. You are ready to grow. When you embrace that message, you rise above the situation instead of sinking beneath it. Problems are not stumbling blocks. They are stepping stones that guide you toward your higher potential. The pain you feel today is the strength you'll rely on tomorrow. If you choose to look closely, you'll find that every problem, no matter how painful, is actually an invitation to become wiser, stronger, and more compassionate, to become the best version of yourself. Change your perspective. It's not the problem size, but your mindset that determines the outcome. Many people believe that the weight of their problems defines the difficulty of their lives. But in truth, it's the way they perceive those problems that truly shapes their experience. The same storm that frightens one person excites another. One person sees the rain as a reason to complain, another sees it as a chance to dance. Perspective is everything. It is not the external situation that causes suffering, but the internal interpretation of it. When we learn to shift our viewpoint, even the darkest moments can become sources of light. Life is filled with challenges, but not everyone responds to them the same way. Two people can face the exact same situation. One breaks down in despair, and the other rises stronger. Why? Because of perspective. When your mind is trained to see problems as opportunities, the fear attached to them fades. You begin to look at challenges as teachers instead of enemies. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you start asking, "What is this trying to show me?" That simple shift changes the entire emotional experience. Suddenly, a problem stops being a burden and starts becoming a bridge that connects you to new strength, wisdom, and understanding, Perspective is like the lens of a camera. When it's out of focus, everything looks blurry and hopeless. But when you adjust it, the same scene becomes clear and beautiful. Similarly, when your perspective is filled with negativity, even small issues appear huge. When your perspective is filled with gratitude and faith, even big problems seem manageable. This doesn't mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is fine. It means choosing to look beyond it. It's about recognizing that behind every cloud, the sun still shines. We often forget that we can't control everything that happens, but we can always control how we see it. That control gives us power. When we choose to see a problem as a chance to grow, we take back control from fear. A difficult relationship can teach us patience. Financial hardship can teach us discipline. Failure can teach us humility and perseverance. If we only focus on the pain, we miss the purpose. But if we look for meaning, the pain becomes manageable, even valuable. Changing perspective also means learning to separate the problem from your identity. Many people say, "I am a failure," instead of, "I failed at something." That small difference in words reflects a massive difference in mindset. When you define yourself by your problems, you give them power over you. But when you see them as temporary experiences, you maintain the power to rise above them. Think of every great achiever. They all face challenges, yet they view those moments as stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. The problem didn't shrink, their perspective grew. They didn't pray for lighter burdens, they built stronger backs. And that strength came from seeing every difficulty as a lesson in disguise. When you train your mind to change its perspective, life itself begins to change. The problem may not disappear, but your attitude transforms your experience. A mountain will always look impossible to climb until you start taking steps upward. From the top, the same mountain that once intimidated you becomes the symbol of your strength. That's the power of perspective. It doesn't remove the obstacle. It changes the way you see it. And once you see differently, you live differently. Every problem carries a hidden lesson. Life is a wise teacher, and it rarely uses comfort to educate us. Instead, it often uses challenges, failures, and unexpected situations to reveal truths we might never learn otherwise. Every obstacle that stands before you has something valuable to offer. A message, a lesson, or a realization waiting to be discovered. But these lessons aren't visible to everyone. They reveal themselves only to those who pause, reflect, and seek meaning in their struggles. When things go wrong, it's easy to fall into frustration or self-pity. We want life to be smooth, predictable, and painless. But real growth doesn't happen in calm waters. It happens in the storm. Every struggle you face has a lesson designed uniquely for you. One that will make you wiser, stronger, and more compassionate if you choose to learn it. Sometimes that lesson is patience. Other times it's humility, forgiveness, or faith. Life never wastes a hardship. It always hides wisdom inside it, waiting for you to uncover it. Think of how a diamond is formed. It's just a piece of carbon that endures intense heat and pressure over time. Without that struggle, it would remain ordinary. Similarly, when life puts pressure on you, it's not punishment, it's preparation. The difficulties are shaping you, refining you, and helping you evolve into something extraordinary. But if you resist the process and only focus on the pain, you miss the purpose. Problems, therefore, are not just obstacles, they are opportunities disguised as difficulties. Often, we don't realize the lesson while we're going through the problem. At that moment, everything feels confusing, unfair, or painful. But when we look back later, we see the hidden gift. The heartbreak taught us self-worth. The failure taught us resilience. The delay taught us patience. The betrayal taught us to value loyalty. What once felt like the end of the road often turns out to be the beginning of a better one. The key is to trust that every experience, even the difficult one, has a reason and a lesson behind it. We live in a world that encourages quick fixes and instant answers. But the deepest lessons in life don't arrive instantly. They unfold slowly through reflection and awareness. It's like reading a complex book. You don't understand it by skimming through the pages. You need to sit with it, think about it, and allow it to sink in. Similarly, when a problem comes, you must sit with it for a while and ask, what is this trying to teach me? That question turns confusion into clarity. It's important to remember that life doesn't repeat lessons we've learned. It repeats the ones we ignore. If we keep facing similar problems again and again, it may be because we haven't yet understood what life is trying to tell us. The same patterns will keep reappearing until we recognize the message and act upon it. Once we do, we move forward wiser and freer. So, every time you face a problem, remind yourself, there is something here for me to learn. Maybe it's about your patience, your strength, or your priorities. Maybe it's about trusting more and worrying less. Whatever the lesson, it's meant for your growth. And when you learn it, you'll find that the very problem that once caused you pain becomes the foundation of your wisdom. That's how life teaches, quietly, powerfully, and perfectly, through every challenge it places on your path. Instead of asking, why me? Start asking, what is this trying to teach me? The difference between these two questions may seem small, but it can completely transform how you experience life. Why me? Is the cry of resistance. It comes from a place of helplessness and pain. It assumes that life has been unfair and that you are a victim of circumstances. On the other hand, what is this trying to teach me? Comes from a place of awareness and growth. It acknowledges that even though the situation is difficult, there is something valuable hidden within it. This simple change in perspective shifts your focus from suffering to understanding, from frustration to wisdom. When people ask, why me? They close the door to learning. They get trapped in a cycle of self-pity, which only deepens their pain. But when you ask, What is this trying to teach me? You open yourself to discovery. You start to see the bigger picture, that life's challenges are not random punishments, but deliberate lessons meant to strengthen your spirit. You realize that every situation, no matter how painful, has something to offer. The question, why me, leads to blame, while what can I learn from this leads to growth. The power to grow lies not in changing your situation, but in changing your questions. Every great transformation in life begins with the right question. The quality of your questions determines the quality of your life. When you face problems, instead of asking questions that make you weaker, such as, why is this happening to me? Or, when will this end? Ask questions that make you stronger. What is life trying to show me here? How can this make me wiser? Or, what part of me needs to change so I can rise above this? These questions don't remove pain instantly, but they give meaning to it. And when pain has meaning, it no longer feels unbearable. When you start asking, what is this teaching me? You become an active participant in your growth. You start noticing patterns in your life, similar situations that repeat until you learn their lessons. You begin to understand yourself better, your reactions, your fears, your weaknesses, and your strengths. You stop running away from problems and start listening to what they are trying to tell you. Maybe the problem is teaching you patience because you've been too restless. Maybe it's teaching you humility because pride blinded you. Or maybe it's teaching you self-love because you've been giving too much of yourself to others. It's also important to understand that this question doesn't deny your emotions. It's okay to feel sad, angry, or lost when facing a challenge. But after expressing those emotions, come back to reflection. Ask yourself, know that I've felt it. What can I learn from it? That's how wisdom is born, through emotional honesty combined with thoughtful reflection. Life's most painful lessons often become the most powerful turning points when approached with curiosity rather than resentment. When you replace why me with what is this teaching me, your relationship with life changes. You stop fighting reality and start flowing with it. You begin to see how even difficulties are tools for your evolution. You start understanding that life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. Each problem is shaping your character, refining your values, and helping you see life with deeper understanding. Over time, this mindset builds resilience. You become calmer, wiser, and more grounded because you know that every experience, pleasant or painful, is a part of your spiritual education. You stop seeing life as something that happens against you and start seeing it as something that's always working for your highest good. Respond, don't react. A calm mind creates solutions that panic never can. In moments of difficulty, our natural instinct is to react quickly. We raise our voice, make impulsive decisions, or allow anger and fear to take over. But reacting only adds more confusion to an already complicated situation. A reaction comes from emotion, while a response comes from understanding. The difference between the two determines whether a problem grows or dissolves. When you react, you act out of temporary emotion. When you respond, you act out of timeless wisdom. The ability to stay calm and composed in chaos is not weakness. It's strength, it's mastery, it's clarity in motion. When we face problems, our emotions rise. The heart beats faster. The mind races, and our thoughts become clouded. In that storm of emotion, we lose perspective. A reactive mind is like muddy water. No matter how hard you look, you can't see clearly. But when you allow the water to settle, clarity returns. Similarly, when you take a pause before responding, your inner wisdom begins to surface. The calmness of your mind becomes the space where solutions can appear naturally. Have you ever noticed that the best decisions are made when you're peaceful, not panicked? Think of a time you said or did something in anger that you later regretted. That was a reaction. It might have felt satisfying in the moment, but afterward, it left pain for you and for others. On the other hand, when you take time to breathe, to think, and to reflect before acting, your actions become thoughtful and healing instead of hurtful. Responding requires awareness. It's a conscious choice. Reacting requires no awareness. It's automatic. Growth happens when you shift from reacting automatically to responding intentionally. Learning to respond doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means giving them space to settle before you act. If you're angry, it's okay to feel it. But don't speak while anger is speaking for you. If you're afraid, acknowledge that fear, but don't make decisions from that place of panic. Emotions are powerful messengers, but they are terrible masters. A calm response uses the message of the emotion without being controlled by it. In relationships, this difference can change everything. A reactive word can break trust, while a thoughtful response can heal wounds. When someone offends you or misunderstands you, reacting in anger adds more distance. But pausing and responding with understanding builds bridges. The goal is not to win the argument, but to preserve peace, both within yourself and between you and others. In the larger picture of life, the ability to respond calmly becomes your shield against unnecessary suffering. Problems don't disappear just because you're calm, but you handle them with greater strength. A calm person sees clearly what needs to be done, one step at a time. That's how great leaders, wise thinkers, and peaceful souls manage to stay centered even in chaos. They don't let emotions control their actions. They let awareness guide them. It's easy to react when life shakes you. But the real test is to remain still inside even when the outside world is loud. That stillness is not passivity, it's power. It's the kind of power that allows you to choose your words, control your energy, and face challenges without losing balance. When you respond instead of react, you're not just solving a problem, you're mastering yourself. And that mastery becomes the foundation of peace, clarity, and lasting strength. Emotions cloud judgment. Pause, breathe, and let clarity return before taking action. When emotions rise, logic falls. It is one of the simplest yet deepest truths of human experience. In moments of anger, fear, sadness, or excitement, our mind loses balance. We see things not as they are, but as our emotions paint them. That's why when we act impulsively under emotional pressure, we often end up regretting our words or choices later. Emotions are powerful forces. They can inspire greatness, but they can also create destruction when left unchecked. The secret lies in learning to manage them, to pause, breathe, and wait for the storm inside to settle before making decisions. Imagine standing by a lake on a windy day. The surface of the water is disturbed, filled with ripples, and you cannot see your reflection clearly. But once the wind dies down, the water becomes calm, and suddenly the reflection is clear again. The same happens within us. When emotions stir our mind, our inner clarity gets disturbed. We stop thinking clearly. But once we pause and breathe, that inner storm begins to calm down and wisdom returns naturally. No problem is solved by panic. It is solved by patience and presence. Pausing does not mean weakness. It means wisdom. It means choosing to act, not react. When you take a deep breath in the middle of chaos, you're not avoiding the problem. You're simply allowing yourself to see it clearly. In that small space between the emotion and your reaction lies the power of control. That brief pause, a few seconds of silence, can change the entire outcome of a situation. It can prevent arguments, mistakes, and emotional damage that might take years to heal. In heated moments, emotions blur the line between what's right and what feels right. Anger makes us say things we don't mean. Fear makes us exaggerate problems. Sadness makes us lose hope. Excitement makes us take unnecessary risks. That's why the pause is so important. It allows you to separate your temporary emotions from your permanent values. Acting without that separation leads to confusion, but pausing brings you back to yourself. It helps you respond from understanding instead of agitation. Breathing is one of the most powerful tools for emotional clarity. It sounds simple, yet it's deeply transformative. When you consciously breathe slowly and deeply, your nervous system relaxes, your heart rate stabilizes, and your brain receives the signal that you're safe. This allows your reasoning mind to take control again. That's why people who stay calm under pressure often seem wiser, not because they know more but because they manage their emotions better. Think of situations in life: an argument with a loved one, a stressful meeting, or a sudden disappointment. If in those moments you can pause, take a deep breath, and allow a few seconds before responding, you will notice how your words soften, your thoughts clear, and your heart steadies. That calmness is not just emotional control, it's emotional intelligence. It's the ability to let your emotions serve you rather than rule you. The truth is, emotions are beautiful and necessary. They make us human. But when they take the driver's seat, we lose direction. We must learn to let our awareness hold the wheel, and emotions can simply ride along. By pausing, breathing, and letting the emotional wave pass, we regain access to our inner wisdom. Then, our actions become thoughtful, our words healing, and our choices aligned with peace. In that stillness after the storm, true clarity is born, and that clarity is what leads to the best decisions and the most peaceful outcomes. Time is a healer and a revealer. Some problems need patience more than solutions. In our fast-paced world, we are conditioned to look for instant results. We want immediate answers, immediate progress, immediate relief. But life does not always move according to our timetable. Some wounds take time to heal. Some relationships need time to mature. And some lessons require time to unfold. When we try to rush what needs time, we end up creating more pain. True growth and healing cannot be forced. They must be allowed. Just like you cannot pull on the petals of a flower to make it bloom faster, you cannot force life to give you answers before it's ready. Every problem has its own timing. There are moments when no matter how hard you try, things won't move forward, not because you're failing, but because the timing isn't right. Sometimes life holds you in place because you're still being prepared. What seems like a delay is often divine timing. The universe works silently, aligning the right people, opportunities, and circumstances. But we often become impatient, mistaking this preparation for punishment. Yet if you look back on your life, you'll notice that the things that truly worked out for you came not when you demanded them, but when you were ready to receive them. Time doesn't just heal wounds, it reveals truths. When emotions calm down and the fog of confusion lifts, you begin to see things as they really are. In the heat of the moment, it's hard to see clearly. You might think someone betrayed you, but later realize they were guiding you toward independence. You might see a loss as unfair, but later understand it cleared space for something better. Time brings perspective. It allows us to step back from our immediate emotions and view life from a higher, wiser place. Patience, therefore, becomes a form of strength. It's not about doing nothing. It's about trusting the process while doing your best. It means showing up every day, taking small steps, and believing that progress is happening even when you can't see it yet. When a farmer plants a seed, he doesn't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. He waters it, gives it sunlight, and waits. Similarly, when you've done your part, you must allow time to do its part. Some things cannot be rushed. Healing from loss, rebuilding trust, or rediscovering your purpose. We often forget that time not only heals but also tests us. It tests our patience, faith, and endurance. When results don't show up immediately, we are tempted to quit, thinking that nothing is changing. But in truth, the change is happening quietly beneath the surface. Like a seed breaking open underground, before sprouting above it, growth often begins in invisible places. You may not see progress yet, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. Time will eventually reveal what persistence and faith can create. When you feel stuck or uncertain, remember that waiting is not wasting. Time is not your enemy, it's your ally. It is working with you, not against you. The problem you're facing today might feel heavy now, but time will soften its edges. One day, you'll look back and see how everything fit perfectly into place, how delays led to preparation, how pain led to understanding, and how patience led to peace. You don't always need to solve every problem immediately. Sometimes the best solution is to wait, breathe, and let time do what only it can: heal what hurts, reveal what's hidden, and prepare you for what's next. Inner strength matters most. Solving outer problems begins with inner stability. The world around us is constantly changing. Circumstances shift, people change, and situations arise that we can't control. Yet the one thing that remains within our control is how we respond from the inside. When your inner world is stable, no outer storm can shake you. But if your inner foundation is weak, even a small challenge can make you collapse. The ability to face problems with clarity, patience, and peace doesn't come from luck or talent. It comes from inner strength. Inner strength is not loud. It doesn't shout or demand attention. It's a quiet confidence that whispers, "I can handle this." It's the calm that remains even when everything around you is falling apart. People often think strength means never breaking, never crying, never showing fear. But real strength is not about avoiding emotions. It's about allowing yourself to feel them without letting them control you. It's the courage to stay grounded even when life tests you in unexpected ways. When outer situations become overwhelming, we often look for solutions outside: new plans, new people, or new escapes. But the truth is, no lasting solution can be found externally if you are falling apart internally. A peaceful mind can turn chaos into clarity, but a disturbed mind can turn even small issues into mountains. Inner stability acts like an anchor. It holds you steady no matter how rough the sea gets. Without that anchor, every wave of life pulls you in a new direction, leaving you lost and exhausted. Developing inner strength begins with self-awareness. You need to know what triggers your fears, what drains your energy, and what brings you peace. When you understand yourself deeply, you stop reacting blindly and start responding wisely. Self-awareness gives birth to self-control, and self-control builds emotional resilience. You can't stop storms from coming, but you can build shelter within yourself strong enough to withstand them. Spiritual and emotional practices play a major role in this journey. Spending time in silence, meditating, praying, journaling, or simply reflecting allows you to connect with your inner self. These moments of stillness are where strength is built. When you quiet the noise of the world, you begin to hear the wisdom of your heart. And once you connect to that inner peace, no outer chaos can easily disturb you. It's like having a lamp inside No matter how dark it gets outside, your light remains steady. Inner strength also comes from acceptance. Resisting what you cannot change only increases pain. But when you accept reality and work with it, instead of against it, you conserve your energy for meaningful action. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means seeing things clearly and choosing your response with wisdom. From that place of clarity, solutions naturally emerge. A strong mind doesn't panic in uncertainty. It finds direction even in confusion. When your inner world is strong, you stop depending on external things for happiness or peace. You realize that true stability doesn't come from everything going right outside, but from staying right within. Life will always test you through people failures or unexpected turns. But those tests are not meant to break you. They're meant to remind you of the power you already have within. Once you build that strength, outer problems stop feeling like threats. They become opportunities to prove your resilience. When you are rooted in inner calm, you carry peace wherever you go. And no problem in the world can truly defeat you.